Igbo patriarchal system, and people know they understand the depth of what it be. Now let me now break the depth of what Igbo patriarchy can do to a woman. You see, as I did now, as an Igbo girl, I didn't follow my husband, also all the hustle for this world, make him everything he is in this world, dip my life for that man. But if I not born man picking, everything that I worked for with my husband will be taken from me. Nothing will be left for me. Make una dey follow me, make I dey explain now. As an Igbo girl that is going to marry an Igbo man, God forbid I will not do it. Everything that I work for is automatically my husband's the moment he marry me. If my husband decides to drag everything where I get with me, call kinsmen, that's umunna. Umunna go outrightly give am everything when me don't work for ram. That is why you see me. I know they follow Igbo man. I know they near Igbo man. I don't speak to Igbo men. I do not care the level you are. You see, as I did now, I feel like my papa built everything from bottom to the top. But the moment my father go, everything is assigned to his sons. Now, when I gained this knowledge, I started building my own life. My papa, they invest for me, say, I'm not going to do anything when it comes to him. Because I realized everything when concern my papa, they go to him boys. So now me, they work for myself. I know they work for him. The day my father even find out that I make my own sister the next of kin. Problem, their house. That is how bad Igbo patriarchy is. Sister, when they bomb me with him, I make her the next of kin. My papa begin quarrel. Because to him, my sister don't get any right or entitlement to my property. Now my brothers, now get the right and the entitlement to my properties. You can see how deep and how wicked Igbo patriarchy is to women. Your life is your whole life is revolved around a man. I dey pity women wey go say, I want to marry an Igbo man. I want to do this to an Oga. You dey use your future to play. Because the moment there is no male child with you, the moment what is it called? Your mother does not give birth to a male child, you are at risk. You can work for everything and everything will go down. In the twinkle of a second, the moment anything happens to your father, or the moment anything happens to your brothers, or the moment anything happens to somebody that is standing as the man for everything that you are working. So that is why you see me here. So me and Igbo men don't get any business. I don't have business with them, and I don't want them to. They tell me, say, what is it called? It is important that I date, God forbid. It is important that I marry, God forbid. It is important that I roll with, God forbid. Nothing. I don't want anything to do with them because the patriarchy system there is so rigid and it does not favor women in any way. Take and play first. Go and find out.
Patriarchy, the hidden system behind the culture. The story of patriarchy is as old as civilization itself, a system built on the rule of men where power, property, and prestige are passed down through the male line. But when we step into the heart of Africa, into the vibrant world of the Igbo people of southeastern Nigeria, patriarchy takes on its own distinct form, complex, cultural, and deeply woven into tradition. To understand Igbo patriarchy, we must first understand what patriarchy truly means. The word itself originates from the Greek word patriarchos, meaning rule of the father. It describes a social system where men dominate positions of authority, leadership, and ownership, while women are often placed in supportive or subordinate roles. In this structure, men lead families, inherit property, and decide the direction of society. In traditional Igbo society, this concept was not just a foreign idea, it was a way of life. The man was the DI, the head of the family, the decision-maker, the protector, and often the owner. Land, property, and titles were passed from father to son. A man without a male heir was often considered incomplete because lineage, inheritance, and even the family name were believed to die without a son to carry them on. Women, on the other hand, held important but often invisible roles. They were the backbone of the market economy, the mothers who raised warriors and kings, yet their voices were limited in family decisions. A woman could work hard to build wealth, but traditionally when she married, her earnings and assets were considered part of her husband's household. Today, on social media platforms like TikTok, a new generation of Igbo women is calling this out. Under hashtags like Genz Igbo Patriarchy and Genz Culture vs Reality, women share their stories, their frustrations, their questions, their pain. One video shows a young woman saying, "I love being Igbo, but sometimes being an Igbo woman feels like a battle." Another creator tells her story of working for years, only to be told that her property automatically belongs to her husband after marriage. These are not isolated stories. They echo across the diaspora, resonating with women who grew up hearing that their value depended on marriage or the sons they could bear. The conversation around Igbo patriarchy has become a digital awakening, part cultural reflection, part rebellion. On TikTok, creators mix humor and honesty to expose what was once whispered behind closed doors. A woman jokingly says, "If I don't give birth to a son, my in-laws will say I brought bad luck." Another challenges it directly. Why should my last name disappear just because I got married? Why must I abandon my father's legacy? Yet Igbo patriarchy is not one simple story of oppression. It is layered with history, culture, and context. Before colonialism, Igbo society was organized around a dual-sex system. Men and women each had their own assemblies, markets, and councils. Women could own property, lead other women, and even hold the title of Omu, a queen mother who wielded real influence. But colonial rule changed everything. British administrators imposed male-centered governance, erasing women's traditional authority structures and reinforcing the very patriarchy that people now criticize. Over time, the system hardened. Male privilege became cultural norm, and women's political spaces shrank. The power of the market women who once influenced trade and justice diminished. And although the world has changed, many of these structures still linger quietly in family customs, inheritance laws, and expectations about gender. In modern-day Nigeria, many Igbo men still see themselves as protectors and providers, a role they take pride in. But critics argue that this often comes with control over women's choices, bodies, and voices. For instance, a woman may be told she cannot inherit her father's land because she belongs to another family now, or that her bride price must be paid before she is recognized as a legitimate wife. Even in the diaspora, these values persist subtly, in family expectations, in how marriages are arranged, and in how daughters are raised. But the winds are changing. The younger generation of Igbo men and women are rethinking what equality means within their culture. On TikTok, the debate is fierce. Some men argue that what outsiders call patriarchy is simply respect for tradition, that men are meant to lead and women are meant to nurture. Others, especially younger voices, insist that tradition should evolve. "Our mothers were strong," one user says. "They traded, they built communities. Don't call it disrespect when we want the same freedom they had before colonization." The rise of feminist Igbo voices has also reignited academic debates. Scholars argue that Igbo culture at its core valued balance, not dominance. The concept of Umuada, a powerful group of married daughters, once served as a check on men's excesses. They could settle disputes, call out injustice, and even shame men who mistreated women. But as Western systems replaced indigenous ones, women's collective power weakened and patriarchy deepened. Now through platforms like TikTok, that balance is being sought again through conversation, education, and bold storytelling. Igbo patriarchy is being dissected not by historians, but by everyday people, students, wives, daughters, and sons, who are choosing to ask why things are the way they are. In this unfolding digital revolution, tradition meets transformation. The same culture that raised warriors and thinkers is now raising women who question, men who listen, and communities that reflect. The goal is not to erase Igbo identity, but to refine it, to remember that culture evolves and power can coexist with fairness. Patriarchy in Igbo land is not just about men ruling over women, it's about a system we all inherited. A system shaped by history, colonization, religion, and fear of change. But every generation writes its own story, and this generation, from Enugu to London to Houston, is writing one where being Igbo and being equal no longer have to be opposites. Because in the end, culture is not static. It is alive, it grows with its people. And as Igbo sons and daughters continue to speak, post, and challenge, they are proving that the truest legacy of the Igbo people is not patriarchy, but progress.
You see, I just watched a video now of somewhere in Anambra where they are chasing one young widow out of her husband's house where her husband be. Because of the husband don't buy, they chase the young girl out. The husband, brother, them and kinsmen, they chase the girl out with a daughter wey he carry for hand. The girl dey cry, the man brothers and kinsmen dey chase am out. Why? Because say she no born boy for the man. Telling her to go and bring the man's property documents. She should go and bring it. She should go and bring it and leave. That chasing her out. That girl child she has for that man does not mean anything. Now woman, now wetin be woman? You be woman, wetin you be? Woman wey dey bend down peace. That's what they will say. Woman wey dey bend down peace. Like see them, they know they bend down to sheets. You see, when people like us come out to call out Igbo patriarchy, they make it seem like they're just setting the Igbo cultures and traditions and the Igbo people up for drags. I am also Igbo. I am also Igbo, but we must keep calling out this evil act out. We must keep calling it out. Most of these are traditions, they are against me as a woman, and you don't expect me to close my mouth. Even traditions and culture no dey value woman. That's the truth. What is the truth? Make una dey talk true. Make una dey talk true.
90% of men born in Onitsha and raised in Onitsha, they beat their wife. 90% of men, I swear with my life, with this thing I dey talk. Any man born and grow up in Onitsha, no dey respect woman. We're very smart.
So again, the Igbo land is very diverse. If you're Igbo, you would have known this. And I talked specifically about my experiences, and I talked about, what's her name? What's this, my crush again? Genevieve Naji is a chief. So again, and now let me add, I don't know if I forgot to add it the first time, it's the women who are the perpetrators and gatekeepers of that rubbish in the Igbo land. Because Umara can decide to frustrate the people. They've chosen not to. They are the ones promoting it. It's still Umara that will come and hound the woman for not having a son. Because they've refused to understand that scientifically it's the man who is able to produce the male XY chromosome, because the woman does not have Y. That's what I mean. It's the women. It's the women. It's the women who have been messing up young wives. It's the women that when you come to them, they will say, nah, there's this Igbo, there's this Christian group, women. The rubbish they say, I see it sometimes on TikTok. The rubbish they say, you'll be wondering, if your husband sleeps with your daughter, what will you do? I'll protect him. It's the women. It's the women. Let's call it what it is. The women are the reason why in the Igbo land they don't have power. Because in my own family, are you kidding? My aunt got wealth. My aunt got the same amount of wealth that her brothers got and my father got. My father treats me and my sisters the same. There's no preferential treatment, anything. He doesn't have any inheritance for all of us. He finished the inheritance. He blew it all away. It depends on where you're from. It depends on where you're from. Because there's are you kidding? It's your village. If you cannot buy land, it's your village. My auntie has lands. It's you people. You go and fix your place. Fix your place. If you cannot buy land in your village, you are the reason. It's not the same in my own place.
So I heard you guys are talking about Igbo Patriarchal Society, and honestly, I am sat like mad. Now, we're talking about the most obvious issue, which is the men. But me, I want to talk about the enablers of a patriarchal society, which are the women in the Igbo society. You know, to me, I believe it's a wastage of time trying to explain to men why women should be respected, why women should be treated equally. Because, first of all, this is not even supposed to be a conversation in the first place. These are people who disrespect their wives, disrespect their mothers, and disrespect their daughters. What do you want to explain to them? So, to me, it's a wastage of time. They don't want to hear it, they don't want to understand it, they don't believe that women are equal to them. So, what do you want to tell them? We're talking about this conversation. It's not for the men. It's to the women. The message is for the women that continue to enable the behaviors of these men in this patriarchal society. Not just enable it, but they enforce it. When you come to a home or a family where you see the mother or the sisters or the sister-in-laws or the mother-in-laws are the ones even encouraging the son to behave certain ways to their wives or to the girls, you wonder, how are we going to beat this whole issue? How are we ever going to get over this patriarchy in the society? When the man even decides that, oh, my wife is my equal, she's my partner, I don't believe in this kind of thing, I don't believe in treating her this way, you will see one woman in that family, you will see one woman from outside insisting that no be so they do am. We must follow Menala. We must do it the way it has been done. because they are angry. Their husband treated them this way. So anybody that is coming after them must be treated this way. No, it's not possible that you will come and you'll be treated better than the way they were treated. Everybody, that pattern must continue. And they will make sure they enforce it. It's the same thing in the society where this whole female circumcision thing still exists. Because at the end of the day, who are the people actually carrying out the circumcision? It's the older women in the society. And if these women decide that no, we're not going to do this thing is going to stop. But the women refuse. There was a certain time where I began to say, oh, it's actually a fault of patriarchy that this female misogyny exists, because these women, all they've known their life is patriarchy. But it gets to a point that as an adult, you need to start fighting certain norms and standards in the society. And if you decide to be complacent to it, you're just a stupid person. You're just a person that refuses to grow and be dynamic. So my anger is not even with the men, because these men, they can never truly understand, because they've never gotten to experience inequality in that form. It's just like trying to tell a white person to fully grasp what it is to live in a racial society or to live with racism. They might try to sympathize, but they can never fully understand it because it's not their experience, it's not their life. So goes for men. They can never truly understand the unfair society we live in. There was someone I knew a while ago, and he told me that, you know what, I don't even truly believe that there is gender inequality. I mean, there might have been a time where when women were not allowed to go to school, or when women were not allowed to work, or when women were not allowed to, or when women were not allowed to vote. Yes, that was when there was gender inequality. But we have passed that, and there's no more gender inequality. Women are just being angry and making a lot of noise and trying to seek attention. How do I explain to this person gender inequality? It's not possible. So the message is meant for these women, because women in the patriarchal society that continue to enforce and enable it are worse. Because you've experienced this inequality, and instead of you trying for a change, you insist that it must continue, even when someone is trying for a change.
So guys, I have a theory that Igbo girls born outside Igbo land are an enemy of Igbo. Because tell me why every Eke market day, one Atikote Kwando from nowhere will come out to tell us, I am an Igbo woman, but Igbo men are misogynistic. Igbo men are this. I am Igbo, but you have so many options. You can go for Hausa, Fulani, or wherever you want to go for. You don't care. Leave Igbo men alone. Leave them for us like that. You can't be speaking about Igbo culture when you were not raised or born in Igbo land. You can't even speak Igbo. You can't even cook Igbo food. And you're saying I am an Igbo woman. Igbo woman what? You're not an Igbo woman, girl. And also, on the issue of inheritance, I inherited properties from my grandfather. I inherited shops from him. I inherited land from him. Same as my sister as well. So the reason why you did not get anything is because your family have nothing. Stop generalizing your ideology on other women. Igbo people are not patriarchy or patriarchal. I don't give a damn. We are not misogynistic. But if you think we are, it's because we are superior. Yes, I said it, bitch.